Hey everybody, it's GobletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. And today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Tarkir Dragonstorm. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one here. Very, very reasonable pack here. Multiple pieces of monocolored interaction, Dragon Spray and Dispelling Exhale and Storm Plane Detainment. That would all be reasonable first picks to stay pretty open right off the bat, but I think our rare here is actually a lot more powerful than it looks. Kind of a hard to cast 3 mana 4/3, but it gives you a pretty huge cost reduction on your future spells and can get you really flooding the board out super quickly in the Temur decks because you're playing a lot of power 4 or greater creatures. So I think this card is really, really powerful. Certainly worth taking pack one, pick one, despite the restrictive mana cost. For pick number 2 here, we could take a Laseed Prowler to go with it. Just a 4 mana 5/5 that also renews into a bunch of +1/+1 counters later, which is pretty decent. I don't mind that at all, but we also have the Sig Appraiser. That's a pretty high pickup as a creature that gets to play to the board and draw you some cards as well early to help you against anything slightly more aggressive in the format. Plus, it's just a great value play in any matchup, so I could see it being Sig Appraiser here, but I really like how the Laseed Prowler plays with our Battle Crier as another power 4 or greater creature, so I'm going to roll with that here. For pick number 3 now, we've got a Thornwood Falls. Definitely want to grab that good fixing pretty highly. But there are some other pretty strong cards like Sunset Strike Master here as a mana dork plus a high power creature early plus a late game removal spell against a dragon. So I like that quite a bit. It is a little awkward to start in an ally color pair instead of an enemy color pair, but we're so early in the draft, it's super fine for now, I think. To just take the strongest card there. There's also Osseous Exhale if we think that we want to speculate towards 4 or 5 color good stuff, which is one of the stronger decks if you can get all the fixing for it. That would also be reasonable. And then, of course, some fine 3 mana Trampoly creatures. I think Champion of Doosan would probably be better to go with our Temur Battle Crier if we want to go that route. I think I'm going to take the Strike Master here, get the Mana Dork in. Pick number 4. Not a super spicy pack this time around. I might just take the dual land here. There is Sultai Monuments, giving us green-blue fixing, even if we're just in Temur, but you do really want to have the ability to sacrifice these monuments to make them worth playing, in which case we want to be at least 4 colors to really run this. But this is very solid fixing if we do end up splashing in a black card or two. And it's also really early in the draft, so if like Temur is super cut, if we end up in Sultai instead, of course the monument would be pretty good. I could absolutely see the monument being strong enough to go speculative here, but I'm going to go for the Rugged Highlands. It's kind of the fixing either way out of that pick. Solid pick 5 now. The Mystic Monastery is very flexible, very good fixing for us, where it'll help if we're just Temur, blue, red, and green, but again, if we splash white, it'll be even more helpful. The Bewildering Blizzard here is also a decent late game draw spell, and the Earth Carver, pretty solid top end card, plays quite well with the Temur Battle Crier. If you can make that Earth Carver any cheaper, it can be pretty explosive. So I like all 3 of these, but love taking fixing highly. Pick number 6 now, Sagu Pummeler is a perfectly reasonable roadblock against the more aggressive strategies. I do like the card. I've had some decks where I've run Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. If you know that you have a bomb, rare, or mythic dragon, even some of the really powerful uncommon dragons, and you have good enough fixing to justify running a colorless land, then this is playable. I think the best deck I've ever had it in was one where we had the mythic Temur dragon, because that card is just so absurd that basically having a second copy of it is just incredible. For pick 7 now, we've got a Focus the Mind, great draw spell out of blue. Pick number 8 now, another Focus the Mind. Don't mind if I do. Pick number 9. Happy to see what has wheeled here. It is all stuff within the Temur color identity. The Tawny Back is great as a cheap creature with power 4 or greater for Battle Crier. To get onto the board pretty early, set up our card draw, but Unending Whisper is also really good with the Focus the Minds as an easy way to flurry. And Inspirited Vanguard could be potentially an army in a can by itself. Love all 3 of these cards a lot. I think I agree with Vanguard though. Stick really deep to green. Now we're mostly on green-blue, and we have the ability to end up in like Sultai instead of Temur, as I've only really taken 2 red spells. Pick 10, Einok Wayfarer, great in pretty much any deck in the format. There's some graveyard abilities like Harmonize here, as well as Renew, and the Wayfarer fills your grave for those while making sure you keep hitting your lands up the mana curve, get to your bigger spells. 12, not going to main deck a Twin Bolt or a Heritage Reclamation, but if there's were best of 3 draft, those would be fine. I'll just take a random Kin Tree Nurturer in case we move to Sultai, and I'm really happy to see a pick 13 Earth Carver. That's going to be a huge addition to this deck. Looks like we are in a really solid spot right now. Green, blue at the core, splash red is the current looks of things, which does make the Strike Master certainly a bit weaker as a 2-mana play. Luckily, though, we open up a pretty good one with the Traveling Botanist. 2 mana for a 2/3. Whenever it becomes tapped, you can reveal a top card of your library. If it's a land, you put that into your hand. Potential card draw engine for only 2 mana is great. Gets you onto the board early as well, which isn't something you're doing super often in this format, so being able to is great. Dragonstorm Globe, good fixing, and Frontier Bivouac, excellent fixing, but I think Botanist might be a strong enough 2-drop to take over that fixing. Yeah, it does take quite a lot to convince me to take something over a completely on-color tri-land, but I think Botanist makes the cut. There's not a super high quantity of just like really, really good 2-mana plays like that. Pack 2, pick 2, another Earth Carver I'd love to wheel if we can. Champion is very reasonable here, as is the Sibsig Appraiser. We're definitely looking at green and blue at the core currently, so I'm not that excited about the red 1-drop. So I'm going to go for the Sibsig Appraiser, get some more card advantage, some more value into this deck out of this pack. Pick 3, we have Synchronized Charge, which is a fine finisher when you have a bunch of really high power creatures, which is definitely something we've got here out of our green stuff. So I do like the Synchronized Charge decently well. The Earth Carvers, seeing as we wheeled one last time, and we don't want like 5 million copies, I'm just not going to take them highly, and I'll probably still end up with 2 or 3 and be pretty happy. So it's really just Synchronized Charge or speculate towards Sultai with the Lion Weight, which is a stronger card on rates, but does require that we end up with some good black fixing here in the end. I'm just going to go for that Synchronized Charge, just the safer pick on that one. Pick number 4, Great Removal, which I'm super low on right now. We don't have any removal spells, so I'm going to take that. The Knockout Maneuver here buffs up one of our creatures, blows up an opposing threats. There's also Molten Exhale, which is good too, but that would be off of the splash color instead of the very, very deep green core to this deck. We've also got Thornwood Falls and Temur Monument for good fixing, but since we are really locked in on just a main 2-color pair right now, our mana looks to be not that difficult. So I'm going to make sure that we have at least one piece of removal there with a Knockout Maneuver. Pick number 5, another Sibsig Appraiser, is spectacular. Blue and green looking decently open here, and I'm very, very happy with how the draft is going. Another Earth Carver, a Tawny Back would be really nice cards to wheel late. Spectral Denial would give us more interaction. Pick number 6 now. I don't think we have enough +1/+1 counter stuff going on for Trade Route Envoy. I don't think this card's really that good unless you can consistently play it as a 4-mana 4/3 that draws a card, which we only do if Wayfarer got a counter, or incredibly late in the game after we've like renewed something or played a 5 or 7 mana Endure card. And even when I play those, I think I would rather put the extra creatures on board than the counters onto them, so I'm just going to take Veteran Ice Climber here. Just get a cheap unblockable threat. Pretty good card to put some counters on early. Pick number 7, another Unending Whisper for flurry stuff. Snakeskin Veil to protect our bigger threats. A Tawny Back for a pretty good cheap threat. Sets up our draws as well. There's also a Herd Heirloom. Seems fine. Doesn't really seem rare worthy. I'm just going to go for the Tawny Back. Or draw a card, discard a card kind of consistency stuff. 4 mana at worst. Pick number 8. Another Tawny Back's pretty good. Pick number 9. Swiftwater Cliffs here. Grab us some more fixing. Pick 10, we do wheel these Earth Carvers to top off our mana curve. Alright. The deck looks pretty great. I think the only thing we're really lacking is like a really good late game kind of bomb. But obviously we can't really control that if we don't open or get past huge bombs, then we're just not going to have huge bombs. The Battle Crier is close. The Prowler's pretty close too. These are pretty strong early rares. Just don't have the crazy top end. Wow, that is a late forecaster. Although we're not really like a big Dragon Globe deck, so I don't think we're even really gonna run it. Alright, what do we got? Pack 3, pick number 1. Well, there we go. There's a completely on-color bomb-ish creature. 6 mana, 6/5, Flying, Vigilance, Trample, Hexproof until you've dealt damage with it. Pretty fantastic. Don't mind that. We have to cut some Earth Carvers, though, when we get another really powerful top-end card like that. New Way Forward, also pretty powerful, but that would require a splash from us, and we have very little fixing. We only have fixing in our lands. None of our spells are, like, searching for any basic. I've just got one white source currently. Be pretty bold to try to be splashing in the New Way Forward, even if it is definitely a bit stronger than Guardian. It's not too much stronger. Guardian is still a really powerful top-end spell. Pack 3, pick 2. Grab a Snakeskin Veil out of this one. Not too much else going on. Could grab a Temur Devotee just for some early blocks, but I think I care that much. Unending Whisper's fine. I'm taking Snakeskin Veil. Pack 3, pick 3, another Einok Wayfarer. Perfect little 2-drop for this kind of deck. There's also Wingblade Disciple. If we think we can get some flurrying going on, that'll be pretty good. Card is strong. My only issue with it is I do think our mana curve is high enough. It'll be difficult to flurry when we don't have like a Battle Crier down. So that does make it a bit weaker. I draft more Unending Whispers. I did just pass one up. We've only got one more pack to get more cheap stuff. I think I'm on Wayfarer over Disciple. I think our curve is just too high for that to be super exciting. Here's Traveling Botanist, which is super exciting. Although, how much removal we have? We have 1 knockout maneuver. Jesus Christ. Okay, I can't take Botanist over removal then. Come on in, Molten Exhale. Nice to see you. Pack 3, pick 5, another Dragonstorm Forecaster. Everybody taking the globes, nobody taking the forecasters. He's all alone. Sultai Devotee, I guess, gives us a 2-drop on the curve that filters our mana. I do not like Twin Bolt. There's just so many 3 toughness plus stuffs, even at 1 and 2 mana, that this is blank so much of the time. Another Einok Wayfarer. Looks reasonable. There's also a Durgar Island Dragon. Stag. Go for the Wayfarer. Pick 7, another Focus the Mind for our 3rd copy. 3rd copy of Temur Tawny back, 2nd copy of Snakeskin Veil, Undergrowth Leopard, main deckable artifact, enchantment removal. Go for more card draw, grab another Focus the Mind. Pick 8, Rugged Highlands. Let's go, let's get some more fixing in here. We've got everything we need in terms of creatures on the curve, non-creature spells. If there's like a really good removal spell, I would still take that, but I think it's too late at this point. We're just going to be low on removal today, which could be awkward. More Botanists. Oh, our mana doesn't look horrific here. Thornwood Falls is probably still the disciplined pick, but I love me a Traveling Botanist. Get another Unending Whisper. I was gonna say we get another Unending Whisper in case we wheel the Wingblade Disciple, but I never thought that was gonna happen. We actually did. And now it's fine because we've got the multiple 1-drops to go with it. 2 Whispers and a Snakeskin Veil. Actually, lots of 2-drops as well at this point. It's pretty cool. I think I'm playing all these 2-mana plays. Probably cutting a Wayfarer most likely. Alright, so what went well, what went wrong here? Green, blue, Temur stuff in general felt pretty open. We had even more opportunities to pick up fixing, but I don't think we needed to pick too much more up here since we are really focused on the green and the blue at the core. So I don't think that went particularly wrong. I think that's all the stuff that went right. We got into a good open color pair here, splashing in our third for powerful stuff. What went wrong here really is that we did not take enough removal. It looks like we needed to take it really, really highly in this draft pod, as the only removal we really saw late were just like twin bolts that are just not particularly consistent at all. So deck still looks pretty good, but the biggest flaws in it are the lack of interaction, and that's where things went wrong here. We're just low on removal and counters and stuff like that. 21 creatures right now, so we'd like to cut about 4 of them. Some combination of these, probably 5 2-drops is fine for this deck. 1, 2, 3. That means I put 2 of these cards back in. Let's go double Wayfarer then. Maybe 1 4-drop. Pummeler looks the worst of these 4. And a couple Earth Carvers, probably. Yeah, I guess 2 more cuts. Don't have any ramp. Yeah, we'll go for just 3 6-drops then, keep the Pummeler in. Looks pretty decent. I mean, I guess I've got 1 piece of ramp, sort of, with Battlecry here. Alright. 3 non-creatures to cut. Triple Focus of Mine might be a little bit high. Cut 1 of those. Okay, the other cuts are difficult. I can't really cut removal. With a pretty decent mana curve as compared to a lot of the slower 4-5 color decks, I think we can get a lot of mileage out of trying to get synchronized charge kills early with these 4-power creatures on 3 and 4 mana. So I think this is a reasonable way to try to cheese out the slower decks. But I want the Unending Whispers to go with the Wingblade Disciple. I want the Focus the Minds for great late game card draw. I want the Snakeskin Veil for an early counter against all of the cheap removal here to try to keep the pressure on our opponent, being a slightly more streamlined deck, slightly more aggressive mana curve. I think we lean into our just early high power creatures then, and we roll Snakeskin Veil Synchronized Charge for sure, and cut down on the card draw. Go for like 1 of each of these. I still have some 2 mana, 3 mana plays towards that Wingblade Disciple. It's still an early flyer no matter what. Yeah, I think I go 1 of each of these then. Because Focus of Mind is quite a late game draw spell. Even when you're casting it for only 3, it's because you're playing a 2 mana removal spell and then playing it for 3. So it's a 5 mana play. I like to lean in a little earlier than that here. Yeah, it looks like a solid, slightly aggressively skewed Temur deck here. The problematic matchup that I could see, or matchups that I could see, would be decks that have multiple really, really scary threats because we're so low on interaction. And there are a lot of decks like that in this format with the amount of mana fixing that's available. If our opponents just drafted all of their strongest 3-color uncommons, bomb rares, mythics, they could play 1 really good one. We exhale it, and that could easily be the only removal spell we draw all game. So that's what we're the most scared of. Any kind of just like really quick aggro deck, I think we should be pretty fine. We're playing to the board quite a bit, and then we can just outclass the size of their creatures in order to deal with their scary early threats. But I'm really, really scared about just individually high quality creatures like opposing Karakit Guardians and Sonic Shriekers and stuff like that. Those big, scary, multicolored threats. So that's what we're worried about here. But this looks like a reasonable deck with a reasonable matchup against most different kinds of strategies, aggro, mid-range control. Pretty well suited to have a game plan against most of those. We will call it a deck here, hop into the gameplay, and see how it does. Alright, here we are for game number 1. No blue source in the hand's definitely an issue here. But I don't think I can mulligan it with a good cheap removal spell and really solid 4 mana plays. Green-black from our opponent, and there's our blue source, so now we have the 4 mana Tawny back. I should have played the mountain, so I could exile at instant speed if they play a better 2-drop this turn. But I'm not exiling Devotee, this thing can just come back later anyway. Alright, here's Tawny back. Probably discard the Wayfarer. Yep, I can use the second Tawny back to draw a card, discard a card, and hope to hit a land there. Right now I'm currently curving out. I'm going Tawny back into Pummeler, into another Tawny back. Appraiser also hits a land for us, so going Tawny back into Pummeler, into Appraiser, land for Exhale feels great. So that's a wonderful draw. Riverwalk technique, put this thing back on top or bottom of our deck. Put that thing on the bottom. We need lands to get up to our 6 mana for multiple top end bombs. Here's Sagu Pummeler. Not really bombs, but like just really, really big threats. Alright, yeah, Sultai deck doing Sultai things. Great card draw now. They're nice and stable. So they're just setting up to try to hit their own powerful late game plays. Sibsig Appraiser or Tawny back trying to hit land number 6. I think land number 6 is important enough to do the draw to, even if it means a significantly smaller creature hitting the board this turn. Oh. Okay, I'm taking that. If they don't kill my Pummeler, I get to double spell next turn. Even if I don't play my 6 drops yet, I get to go Battle Crier plus Tawny back in 1 turn, which is really gross, even if I don't hit a land. If I do hit a land, I can still just play a 6 drop and then also have this great threat later to double spell and flurry out. If a card left their graveyard this turn, they get a 2/2 zombie. That's pretty good with the Devotee that they've got there. Yeah, so they could just like put the Devotee to hand, make a 2/2. Sure. I don't think I have enough for removal in this deck to justify killing this zombie druid, as much as I would love to get aggressive. Okay. Battle Crier Tawny back here. Yep, get the 2/2 out of the way with the Appraiser. Find another Wayfarer. Gold Keeper. And Devotee. And here's where I am happy. I left around my Exhale, because now we kill the thing that's actually big enough to kill one of our cards. So they got a 1 mana way to protect it in blue? Oh, Desperate Measures so they get to draw cards since it's going to die anyway? Sure. As long as they don't have the mythic rare board wipe, feel pretty locked in here. And then even if they do, I've got a hexproofing threat to finish them off. Should be very hard for them to survive without a very specific rare here. Another goalkeeper. They are taking well over lethal with just one blocker up. And that's what they've got. They put a counter on it, draw a card, 2 mana left. There's a Humbling Elder and a concession from our opponent. Temur starts things off at 1-0, just flooding the board with absolute beef and overwhelming our opponent. Here we are for game 2 on the draw. Botanist into knockout maneuver can make a pretty big botanist to be able to try to get those attack triggers turn over turn. We are playing against Boros. They start with the Shock Brigade here. Let's hope they don't have the cheap removal, so we can get some botanist triggers going. Sharpshooter, that's really nice with the Shock Brigade, getting a bunch of extra damage in. I think I'll have to knockout maneuver that Sharpshooter against a Boros mobilized deck that can get just so much damage in early. Which is a little bit awkward because it does mean not having, again, one of my only 2 removal spells in this deck up later. But I know this is going to be a problem out of Boros. So deal with it before it gets any extra chip damage in. Seems fine. No, they immediately have the graveyard recursion for it. Unlucky. Did not love to see that. Temur Tawny back is the draw. Play Tawny back plus Wayfarer next turn, mana efficiently. Just play a Pummeler for now. I have enough lands here. I don't think there's tons of value of getting another one, so I'm gonna just hold this up and defend myself more. If we last long enough against a Boros deck like this, we'll just overwhelm them again with just much bigger creatures than they generally cast. So let's do what we can to preserve our life total and try to not die to the early creatures. Uh-oh, that's one of the stronger aggro rares. Pretty easy to flurry in these Boros decks. Spit out another 1/1 haste every single turn, but you're also buffing it up to make it more important. The bodyguard is flurrying to tap our stuff down. Yes, pretty brutal. Do they even have the 1 mana instant to trade up into botanist here? No, they were just getting extra damage in, fair enough. Yeah, we're getting bombed a little bit here, and it's an issue. Great draw, though, so that we can double spell and leave as many blockers up as possible. With bigger creatures than just a 1/1 this time. One mana Wingblade Disciple. It's pretty good for flurrying, I would say. Zergo's Vanguard. Turn the audio down a tiny bit. It's not good for me. I'm at 9 life. The Sharpshooter gets to keep doing its stuff. They had the recursion against our removal. They just play enough creatures and we die, even if they never hit us again. And with Menace and double Mobilize, they can definitely hit us again for at least a little bit. And they only need a tiny bit of chip damage to get this to 0. With us getting damaged off each creature hitting the board. Okay. Pretty quick race here with Karakik Guardian, which is nice. I think I hold on to the Wayfarer here for another flurry later to add to our flying damage. I mean, I hit for 9 2 turns in a row. If they have no removal, we kill them in 2 flying swings. But a potential flurry in the future feels worth it to not play just a 1/1 on this board. There's Kinguard, double ping with Sharpshooter. 1 card left in their hand. If it's some kind of trample trick, that could be a problem. Although I guess they also have the ability to just equip trample to the Vanguard. Yeah, that's rough. This equipment is great. If they flurry us again too, get another ping, get a prowess monk, tap our best blocker. This is such a curve from our opponent. Alright, no attacks, no attacks. Ooh, hello. Trample Vigilance, you say? Plus a Flurry this turn? Land card from among them into your hand. Shoot, so I can't double cast this? Guaranteed unless I don't play Wayfarer. That's fine though, because double casting this still counts as the Flurry. So I guess no Wayfarer here. Becomes tapped is when that triggers, okay. So I need 5 power attackers guaranteed. So we gotta do it on the 4 power creatures. Oh, they do have a 1/3 reach, so I guess the bird doesn't matter. Even if I put the counter on it, it just bounces off. Synchronized Charge was such a draw here, being able to get this full send in, still having all the blockers up. Absolutely monumental. Card already gets the overperformer reward, only if, even if I die. I gotta say, despite like potentially just dying to Boros here, I like our opponent's deck. I like that they actually did pull off a really great, really quick aggro deck, because I think it's one of the more difficult things to do in the set. With so much fixing leaning towards the big soup piles. Their deck is very impressive. Alright, wipe out a bunch of the board, put them to 1. See if they can find a way to get 7 damage in here. That would be very impressive, but technically possible. There's Reigning Victor, Indestructible Attack with Vanguard, I guess, to clear out one of our threats. Yeah, and get another ping damage. Steel Cutter equipped to the Brigade, and they're tapped out. We know that we're not dead because they're tapped out, so we have got there against a great aggressive start from Boros here. Still super, super impressed with their deck, but we are fine. All right, made it through 2 very different matchups so far. Probably the most aggressive deck that I've seen so far in this set from our opponent this round. And last round, the slower, grindier kind of Sultai, big card draw, late game stuff. So really nice stuff from our deck these first couple games, winning some very different matchups here. Here we are now for game 3. We're going to be on the draw this time around. I think the hand is pretty great. We have all our colors of mana. Turn 2 Botanist into turn 3 Appraiser will start us off. Playing against a red deck, blue-red from our opponent. Could be Jeskai or Temur, 4-color, 5-color, who knows? They start with Jeskai, Devotee, and here's where some of that traveling botanist power comes in. They're going to need the cheap combat trick or removal or flurry trigger to get in this turn, because we got a 3 toughness 2 drop. Oh god, not again. Steel Cutter, turn 2 into immediate flurry, or sorry, turn 3 into immediate flurry on the play. Insta equip, Get the devotee swing in. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. Opponent hits us with the same aggro bomb here, which is very concerning. They've also got Dragonfire Blade to blank all of our removal. Hexproof from mono-colored is just full-on hexproof from our deck. Alright, so we just play a Sipsig Appraiser here into a Prowler, into an Earth Carver soon enough. Gotta hold up on blocks if I can. They're threatening so much damage without even playing another card with this Dragonfire Blade. Yep. Man, this is the worst part, is that like the trades aren't even good. Like at least they're tapped out of any prowess tricks here, but I have to 2-for-1 myself to kill a 1/1 monk that they can get more of. This is rough. I don't feel that I have too much of another choice because I have to go down to 13 if I don't take this trade. I guess I can go down to 13, then play the 5/5 blocker for the 4/4, but then they have the mana untapped to prowess trigger it to make it a 5/5 if they flurry, trample over plus kill, and I'm in a really bad spot. Botanist has such good attack triggers though, and Appraiser does hold off the other creature. We take this damage, but it sucks. Alright, we did get an extra card draw worth of value from Botanist for playing it out like that. Let's get another blue source on board so I could go Unending Whisper, focus the mind a future turn if I want. But obviously we have to just play Prowler right now. Ooh, mill the synchronized charge. Do not mind it. How many lands is that in grave? 2? This is 2 plus and plus 1 counters. I don't think it's worth the double block, because any instant they have to prowess trigger is probably a combat trick, in which case they're going to make this way big enough to survive an Appraiser also blocking, so might as well just lose the 1 creature here. Okay. It's just the 4 mana play, that's fine. Because then we actually get the trade. Now we can go Wayfarer plus focus the mind and put more lands in our grave. Make our Laseed Prowler trigger as big as possible. I do here. +2/+2, we double block trade. Not bad because he's, well, this drew us a card, so it's not the worst 2-for-1 this time. Lost our Molten Exhale. Flamehold Grappler. Whoa. Do they have a 1-drop for that thing? Wow. Oh my god, that's good. Yeah, Flamehold Grappler, Channel Dragonfire. That is efficient. Oh, we're getting bombed. This is, really is the set of just great rares everywhere. Ay, ay, ay. Here's as many blockers as I can play out. When they just slap a Dragonfire Blade. Oh my god, they can put Dragonfire Blade and the trample equipment on the Flamehold Grappler and have like a 6/6 trample first strike. Right. Okay, they're choosing not to do that, which feels good. But that means they're flurrying instead, which is also not good. I need to make one just insanely big blocker if I want to be able to block. Oh, boy, oh boy. What fun we are having this draft. This game, I mean. The rest of the draft has been pretty good. Okay, I don't see how we possibly live from here, but we'll play as many blockers as we can. I have to go untapped land to use the Prowler here. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 +1/+1 counters. I mean, we're dead. They can just Dragonfire our face for 2 and then attack all and it's lethal. They can also Dragonfire Blade the 1/1. They have an instant in their hand. Or a flurry. We're still dead here, but otherwise spending all that mana on the equip on Forebear gives us a shot to survive a turn. Oh my god. Okay, Miss Lethal. We take those. We take those. Okay, that is quite the cost reduction. More blockers. I believe that lets us double synchronize charge here. Oh, it's already in my grave. I can't double it. I can just do the 1. Okay, this already gets Vigilance Trample. Hold up. I can harmonize this for only 1 mana as well. Okay, this actually costs me 2, but I should still do it, I think, before combat. Just in case. Knockout maneuver? Oh my god, okay. Okay. Hexproof for mono-colored, though. Okay, I want to hold that. If I'm scared they can get a lethal crackback, I'll maneuver post-combat. But if I'm not scared, I'll just gain 1 and save this for a big threat later. These are all big enough to trade into their biggest creature and just trample over the other ones, so we send all. They go to 5. I mean, if they flurry and they have 4 attackers, we are going to die here. So I think I probably should knockout maneuver. Oh my god. Let's go. All right, game 4. We're on the draw. We keep this 2-drop, 3-drop. It's got our early plays. Now we've got a finisher with Inspirited Vanguard plus the hexproof trick to protect it. Temur mirror match. Roiling Dragonstorm starts them off. Draw 2, discard 1. Start off with our Wayfarer. Mill Synchronized Charge and pick up a land. Great mills. Great mills. And there's a Temur Tawny back of their own. Kind of have to play my own now. I don't want to get slammed for 4 every single turn here. So I want to have my 3 power to block it. I guess I can double block with Appraiser plus Tawny back. That'd be perfectly fine. It feels a little more balanced to just trade Tawny back for Tawny back. Focus the Mind is the draw. I think we drop Whisper here. I guess with the Synchronized Charge and Grave, I probably want to try to keep my biggest creatures, but also they're on the play, 4 open mana here. I don't want them to just overwhelm me early. Yeah, they've got another 4/4 coming up. We should definitely be playing on the defensive. Appraiser. Have a Veil up. Not that I'm going to use it here. Grab Battle Crier. Maybe I should have just Tawny backed again, honestly, against Pummeler. I can just block with a 1/1 here. Actually, I probably definitely should have done Tawny back. I just kind of brain farted and was excited about Appraiser, so I jammed it. Sure. $16. Set up the cost reduction for a huge 2 or 3 spell turn next turn, as long as I can keep this around, and I have the Snakeskin Veil to try to do that. They need double removal. Battlecry over the land with the Appraiser was a bold choice for sure, but the reason that I think it was fair is that I have the Snakeskin Veil in hand alongside it. Okay, that's very scary. A 5/6 Botanist is really good here. Yeah, I'm gonna need to like triple spell next turn. This is rough stuff. Okay. Alright, I need you to land, Wayfarer. Find me a blue source, shall you? I could just play a Pummeler, hold up a Snakeskin Veil, but this 5/6 is so big. That's not helping. Pummeler, hold up Snakeskin Veil again. I'm not blocking with Battle Crier. Alright, I can chump Botanist and trade with Pummeler now. So we take no damage this turn. And then Battle Crier slowly pulls us ahead by just letting us start casting so much stuff. Our turns will just get more and more explosive as time goes on because we do have the card draw in hand to go farther here. Unless they have double removal. In which case we still tap them out. Battle Crier still put in some good work for us. Does not look to be the case. Oh, it is the case. But they didn't have a dragon to use the other removal spell at instant speed, I see. Alright, draw another land here, I suppose. And going for the big one this turn. Sadly, they did kill our other 4 power creatures, so my cost reduction goes back down to not being that big. Yeah, killing the other 4 is actually still really good for our opponent. So, we can spend green, blue, red on Tawny back, and then the Vanguard costs 3. So I can cast Tawny back and Vanguard here. If I play Tawny back or Vanguard, I can focus the mind for 1 mana. I think this is just Tawny back plus Vanguard. Yeah. Counters on it first for Battle Crier's ability. Block a Pummeler, take 5 this turn. $12-11 here. But we take the first hit, go down to 7. Our opponent is 5 color. They have a lot of removal. They do exile our Synchronized Charge, which is a good call, because that would have been close to lethal next turn. Oof, and the bounce for the Vanguard. Yeah, that's also very rough. Man, the opponent has so much interaction over there. It has really, really hindered all the Battle Crier cost reduction stuff we're trying to do. Send in Botanist. Yeah, I have no good block for that. We go to 7. And they keep digging through their land clumps. Guaranteeing more spells here. This is the exact kind of matchup I was pretty worried about. It's basically like, it's the mirror, except they have just tons of removal, and we have very, very little. Yep. Double rebuff seems incredible. And our position seems booty. Tawny back, trading to Pummeler. Guardian, sadly. Trading to Botanist is where we're at here. They have gotta stop hitting gas here for us to have a chance. And that is unlikely with the card draw Botanist has given them. I don't know if Botanist has missed a single time. It's like a coin flip kind of card where if it's a land on top, you draw it. If it's not, then you surveil. You don't get a swing of card advantage there if it's not a land, but I'm pretty sure they've just hit like land, land, land at least like 3 times here. Jesus. Yeah, it's just all gas there. Yep. They just have a lot more interaction than us, and that is going to get us killed. And they've not... They're just never failing on botanist. So there has been an element of luck here, too. I think this game was still potentially winnable if they just hit a little worse on botanist, but they've drawn really, really well, too. This is 6 mana. Map. I can't play Battle Crier and Vanguard. So I need to play Botanist as a chump blocker right now. It's pretty much my only option. I guess 2+1/+1 counters with Pummeler for 5 mana. I don't have the mana to do that. Put 2 counters on the Botanist, but that's still not big enough to trade into their Botanist. I still have another instant here. All right. Double interaction again? Why not? Yeah, their deck is insane. 3-1 it is, heading into game number 5. Here we are for game number 5. We are 3-1 right now, pretty solid hand. No 3 mana proactive play, but we've got all of our colors. Got a great 4-drop. I actually do need to hit another green source for that one. That should be easy enough to do. Alright, knockout maneuver doesn't do anything against the Shock Brigade here. Our opponent is a Mardu deck. They've drawn into perfect mana as well. Furious Forebear. There's the next green. Two 4 bodies kind of legit here. I think against Mardu, against a more aggressive clan here, kind of need to be using all my mana to the best of my ability. Buffing my board, hindering theirs, slowing them down. Turtling up a little. Put a 4-bear back in their hand if they want, but I imagine they've got better stuff to do right now. If they don't, that's pretty good for me. Just play another 3-1. Okay. Just Caustic Exhale. Fair enough. That would have been way worse for us later if they got to like exhale when I try to maneuver. So that all played out pretty fine. Alright, no Harmonize, but we did get a land engrave there. They got the 4 damage card too. Oh, sack a creature, kill it. Pretty good thing I blocked then. Oh, give me a break. One of the strongest rares in the format. 3 mana for 2/2/3 flying lifelink cards. Yep. Here's the 4/4 reach. You get a 1/1 lifelink haste each turn. That's hard to race. Another flying blocker. Another worthy cost. Really good with the siege. I don't think it's worth losing hexproof to clear out a 4-bear that's just going to come back anyway. Play Pummeler plus Botanist here. I am playing a 4 for each. I can probably lose the hexproof here. For the Vigilant Swing, still have the blocker up. They don't have the removal. One card left in their hand. The amount of lifelink they have on board, this Krumar Initiate goes kind of hard. Yeah, make a 5/5. They're down to 8, but yeah, all that lifelink here. Harmonize 5. I've got the 5 up. Let's go. Synchronize that charge. They are far from dead here with all their lifelink, but we get to clear out some of the board. $16 life. I'm just clearing out the flying lifelinkers. Over the ground troops. You can keep the 5/5. They can't kill the Guardian, they're dead now. So their final turn to top deck removal. They had it earlier, they would have cast it earlier. Send the squad. Down to 11. Alright, I can bring the 4-bear back every time I kill a 1/1. 4-bear doesn't do anything removal-wise, though. Which is the only thing that we're scared about. Oh, go to 7. Go to exactly not dead? No, I've got Pummeler. I've got Pummeler. I think if they had the removal, they would have used it pre-attacks. So we go for the kill. And there's the kill. That is 4-1 heading into game number 6. Game number 6. Slower start, but we're on the play to speed it up a little bit. Turn 3 Battle Crier is going to start us off, hoping for no removal from our opponent. Might be better to just go for Appraiser first in that case. We are playing against Mardu again. They start with Krumar Initiate. I'm still just going to run out Battle Crier, because if they don't immediately have their removal, then we have an incredibly explosive turn next turn. They do have a Storm Plane Detainment, fair enough. Still keep them off of going super aggressive here. Now I can Disciple Flurry. Hand is really good at flurrying turn over turn with this Disciple, so they need double removal to really be safe against our opener. Voice of Victory. Alright, looks like we got the removal out of the way. Wayfarer mana up to the Guardian. If we hit the land, we focus the mind. If we don't, we synchronize charge. We did hit the land. Actually, Sibsic Appraiser, play to the board feels better. And that still digs for the Guardian land. Finds the land. Flyer's looking great here. Oh, I think this is the first time I've ever seen this combat trick get cast. Fair enough. Still got our 2 birds out of our Disciple to keep sneaking in damage here. I might synchronize charge the birds up, honestly. I'm probably playing Guardian next turn, but later in the game, having the birds permanently be like 3/3s from that point on would be pretty absurd if I double charge on them. Venerated Stormsinger, that card is a problem and a half. They drain me for life every time they mobilize. Or any of their creatures die. Such as this Initiate. So that's really hard to race. They can decay our whole board with this once it's in the grave and shut off all of our blockers and go for a 1-turn lethal. It's incredibly threatening. That takes them a couple turns to set up. Hopefully we can just do enough damage to kill them before then. Doing the thing with the Flyers. Try to get the 2-turn kill. They're down to 7. Let's see. It's 13 damage on board. 16 damage on board because the Stormsinger triggers. I definitely have to block some of this because it's so easy to die to just a light breeze style combat trick. If I kill the Stormsinger before the end step, I don't take the extra damage off these 1/1s at least. They don't have double black for Rakshasa yet, unless they play Swamp for turn to decay my cards. I think I gotta do something like this. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. They need to do an additional 6 to kill me this turn, which sounds unlikely. That's only if Stormsinger survives as well. If it doesn't survive, that's 3 less damage than I said. It's just 8. I think I have to not block with Guardian, because there are cards like the Death Touch trick. There's a 3 mana 3/3 that deals 5 to something that's already been dealt damage, stuff like that. Like, all I'm really accomplishing with the Guardian blocking is stopping 1 more damage anyway. Okay. That was enough kills here and life gain that they're definitely not dead on board anymore, which is rough. That +1/-1 trick actually played insanely well for our opponent. It made it so instead of bouncing, they get to trade and kill my flyer and also draw 2 cards in the interaction. That was a really good trick there for that block. There's Reigning Victor. Alright, we're gonna have to get 2 swings with Guardian if we want to have a shot here. I'm gonna try to draw into Snakeskin Veil before I send the attack in case they have the white exhale. There it is. In case they have the white exhale to deal 5 to an attacker. They do not. So we just play another botanist, probably. Yeah. Let's just Whisper. I'm not going to block with Guardian here. And then I get to hold up Snakeskin Veil too. I guess maybe tapping Guardian leaves us dead to some kind of crazy haste thing I'm not thinking of. It'd have to be pretty crazy though. I guess there's the Death Touch haste rare that like spits out a copy of something else. Counter their life gain, keep our blocker up. And that's the game. Really was important to keep up. Snakeskin Veil there, although I guess if I didn't tap the big dragon, the current wouldn't be big enough to kill it anyway, but then I'd be forced into a block with it, putting it at some risk. I don't know. It all played out pretty well for us. We are 5-1 now, guaranteed in the money out of this draft. Feels pretty great after yesterday's draft. That one was a particularly rough one there. So 5-1, heading into game number 7. All right, game number 7. Great mana to start us off. We are on the draw here, not playing anything till turn 3, so it's a little bit of a slower start if we're against like Mardu again or something. They are on black. Start off with a Swamp here. Black-white could be Mardu or Abzan. Ooh, here's where we have a problem. Our lack of removal is going to hit us hard with an excellent cheap bomb rare like Sinkhole Surveyor. This is the kind of card you need to blow up as quickly as possible, and we're not going to be able to blow it up until turn 4 at the absolute earliest. Maybe not even till turn 5, a turn after we have Pummeler on board. Because turn 4, I'll only be able to do 3 damage to it off of the Appraiser on board, which is likely not going to be enough, because they'll put at least 1 counter on it by then, most likely. Yeah. Man, this is also, you know, play-draw differential coming in hot. The fact that we're on the draw here and they get to get these triggers before I even have my 3rd land means it's going to be really difficult to get enough power to kill it. Because by the time on turn 5 I can do 5 damage to it, it's going to have 6 toughness because they were on the play and got it rolling out early. Rough start to this game. Absolutely not what we want to see. I need the early cards here. I've already got the top end finisher. All in the sky from our opponent, Sunpearl Kieran and Sinkhole Surveyor. Quick, cheap flying threats here. There's the Butcher turn 4. This is disgusting. Kind of a dream curve out there. At least they have started making 1/1s instead of putting more counters on Surveyor. That means if Sagu Pummeler does not die to removal, then I will be able to knockout maneuver it next turn. but now I gotta worry about this Butcher too. Making all their mobilized tokens unblockable. Their Sinkhole Surveyor. 1/1 Spirit tokens also. Death Touch. They've got the Detainment. Hand does seem to have it all over there. We probably should have put a Praiser on the 1/1 Spirit, but I mean, what are you going to do against this curve out? Move on to the next game is what you're going to do. 5-2 heading into game 7. Here we are on the draw yet again for game number 8, actually. Yeah, 5-2, this is game 8 here. Ice Climber into a Praiser, Synchronized Charge for later. This is a fine start. We're against Boros for about the 100th time today. Here's Veteran Ice Climber. Boros matchup would not be bad at all if we could just be on the play instead of on the draw. But I can't control coin flips. I have not found that skill yet. Could just synchronize charge up the Ice Climber. It's a little interesting. I'm probably supposed to take Botanist here, but Synchronized Charge hold up Snakeskin Veil is too fun, so I'm going to be a little bit of an idiot about it. I'm going to do the fun-looking, goofy thing. And because I made that decision, they're going to Stormplane Detainment the Ice Climber right now. I'll tap out of the Veil. Yep. I love my life. If I took the Botanist, though, they would have just played another great creature. And we would have had the perfect Synchronized Charge curve out. Down to 18. Tawny back is not bad at all. You need to play the green source to cast it here. So I don't get to hold up Veil this turn. Synchronized Charge plus Focus the Mind next turn if I go untapped land. Feels worth it. It's probably playing the wrong lands here. If I had an opportunity to play a forest over the second island at some point, definitely should have done that. Well, that's gross. Locked in Flurry, double spell this turn, get a bunch of stuff onto the board. Or off of the board. Why? Play against the same bomb rare twice today. Sage of the Skies is back for revenge. See if it can beat us this time. This hand does look weaker to Sage of the Skies, awkwardly, but Wingblade Disciple turns that around pretty much instantly. I can't hold up the Snakeskin Veil here if I want to flurry with this Disciple. I think I need to just Disciple Flurry here, because then I still have an Earth Carver coming up for more Sage blockers. We're spreading our power toughness around right now. Not really attacking. Just flooding out the board. We're turtling up. Narset with like an empty hand. Pretty good. Oh my god, yeah, that's an immediate draw 2. 3 mana, 3/4, draw 2. Pretty absurd deal. It was 2 more rares in a row too. Waymaster and Headliner. Yep. Headliner can immediately sack itself to kill the Disciple. Alright, you got us. So now we got no blocks. They're hitting for 4 and gaining 4 every turn. This is just silly. Draw 2. Just the exhale for the Narset in theory. But if I do that, I'm doing nothing about the 2 flyers that are currently actively killing me. I still have to, I think. Because, I mean, they just go land, spell, draw another 2. Next turn, land, spell, draw 1. Like, drawing even 1 extra card a turn is so deadly. In the long run. Yeah, I mean, it hurts to do this, but I gotta hit Narset over the Sages to have any shot once we stabilize. There's not a reason to hold up Snakeskin Veil here, is there? I guess it's probably better than a single life. Just in case their plan is like kill our only blocker. Slam. Sure is. If they flurry, they still get to trade Devotee into Appraiser. And they're just gonna hit with the Sages though. Down to 10. Bearer of Glory. Yikes, that thing's a problem. But so is Karakit Guardian. I mean, if I didn't mill that, they would have drawn it anyway. If I didn't mill that Wild Ride, they would have drawn it and been able to cast it and harmonize it so that both of their Sages are a 5/3 this turn and just attack into the Guardian. But even milling that and having one of them do that is bad. Gross. Yeah, I mean, that's just a really good top deck for our opponent, whether or not we mill it. Even better if we don't. Maybe we had a turn in here somewhere that... I mean, this is 5 to cast if we don't harmonize anybody, but maybe there was a turn somewhere to make this bird a 3/3 on blocks. Try to use that against the Sages. I could see it. Another Bearer of Glory. So we're going to flurry this turn too. Harmonize for the 5 power Sage. So we got a 5 life here. Against a ton of attackers, they can buff the whole board with +1/+1. I do not want to throw this Guardian under the bus, but I don't see much of another choice, because if I don't, they have 6 attackers plus a mobilized token for 7, +1/+1s, I'm at 5. Even if only 2 creatures get in, I'm dead, basically. That sucks. Milled a Narset's Rebuke that time. That was a good mill. Okay, with the Bearer of Glories, the 3/3 bird matters a little bit less than I would want it to, but it still matters. Because they don't have enough mana to double activate Bearer of Glories. Oh boy. Dawnbreaker now to buff +1/+0 each turn, plus a 3/4 flying vigilance, which with a single Bearer of Glory shoots up to 4/5 status against my 4/4 reach. Gotta hit me some goodies off the top. Praiser does some digging for those though. Pummeler is one. And Prowler, I've got 1, 2, 3 lands in grave once this thing dies. I really need the reach blockers though first. We're on the slowest mill plan of all time. Let's go. I don't know, maybe it was extra defensive to make this bird a 3/3. Maybe the counters on Ice Climber grinds out this game better. Obviously, in hindsight, we would have gotten quite a few mills in with it by now. But there's tons of reasoning towards, again, trying to turtle up our flying blockers as best as possible. So I don't know what the information we had. If it's definitely better to be blocking with the bird, or definitely better to be milling with the Ice Climber. It's definitely definitely an argument there. Well, this can't possibly be good. Well, show me what kind of insanity you top decked here. Excuse my stomach, it's going wild. Well, they didn't hit anything. Alright. Clear out all the flyers. If they don't have any spells... Okay, I was going to say, if they don't have any spells, that was actually an incredible turn for us. Mana off from knockout maneuvering here. but I get a Vigilant Reach threat, which is a huge deal. That was such a turn. My, oh my, we are in this game now. Milled a couple spells and only one land. Love to see that. Jeskai Devotee doesn't do too much. I knock Wayfarer for us. Start milling 4 cards a turn, mill them out in 3 turns off of Knockout Maneuver. Although, I think it's probably... Oh, I'm definitely not milling 7. It's probably safer to hold on to the Knockout Maneuver. I still mill them out in like 3.5 turns. Because they draw 1 card each turn. I kind of do need to play every blocker I can, so I do have to mob myself at least a little here. Land, Wayfarer. Actually good mills. Pretty happy with that. They drop land off the top. Yeah, I got that 3-turn mill plan still hanging out. Milled 3 spells on that one? Nah, 2 spells and a land again. But still been hitting good odds there. Equilibrium Adept, which mills them 1 more card, which means they are dead if it doesn't save them. And it doesn't mill the final 3 in that's game here. Veteran Ice Climber, we mill out the aggro deck? We don't even, like, stabilize then overwhelm the aggro deck with bigger creatures. We mill them out over a course of a long game. That is wild stuff there. That is 6-2 for this deck now. An excellent record no matter what happens, leaving this event with some great value, which is good because definitely needed. I'm getting a little low on gems, and we got an Arena Direct coming up this weekend, so really happy with this result here, but we've made it all the way to the final boss here, so let's see what happens in our final game of Magic. This is a risky keep with a mono green hand, but I love all of the green cards, and if the botanist doesn't die, it digs for more mana, so I'm taking the gamble. If the botanist does die, this hand falls flat, but that's why we drafted multiple botanists. See? We got 2. It's so fine. Temur mirror match, but we're on the draw there on the play. They start off with a Wayfarer and pick up a Frontier Bivouac. There's our other colors of mana. Love to see the Swiftwater Cliffs here, solving all of our mana issues, giving us both blue and red in addition now. And we've got the perfect curve out to them blowing that up. I just get to play a tap land and another 2-drop. Perfectly mana efficient. We drew both of our removal spells this game, which is really lucky, considering how low we are on removal. There's a Battle Crier. I can't afford that currently. I need another mana towards that. Maneuver Sorcery Speed. Exhale also Sorcery Speed, so I can't really get through the Stag here with the Botanist. So I gotta just play Disciple and pass. I do think I need lands badly enough here that it might be worth trying not to trade Botanist off early, but at the same time, like, how am I ever getting an attack off with it trying to draw the lands? Okay. I could double spell with Snakeskin Veil and Knockout Maneuver. I don't think that that is worth it. But that would make Botanist big enough to attack. If I just make Botanist 3 power and kill the Leopard, Botanist can attack without dying here. And I'll still have the Exhale. Yeah. I've got the Snakeskin Veil up if they want to try to respond to this with an instant of their own. I guess if they have their own Snakeskin Veil, that works for them. But if they try to kill Botanist here, then this plays really, really well. Please give me the land. I think this was worth it, because I need the land so desperately that I'm ready to get this Botanist tapping here. By all means necessary. Perfect. Okay. Feel if they had the removal, they would have used it on Botanist in response to my removal spell. So I can Snakeskin Veil just to buff up a little bit and get a flyer out. Is that worth it? I think so. 4 power in the sky off of the Veil. Get racing with that. I mean, we spent 1 mana for a 1/1 flyer and a counter. Okay, unfortunately they just have the 4/4 flyer immediately after, but I got the exhale for that. No double spell though. I can't play Battle Crier and exhale because I don't have... I have to use this for the blue, so I don't have double red to cast both in one turn. Try to sequence things to double spell later by playing Battle Crier now. Then Exhale only costs 1, and Earthcarver costs 1 less. So if they don't play any interaction, I can play Earthcarver plus Exhale next turn. Take 1 turn off of swinging to do so. This feels pretty reasonable. Although I have to pay the ward. Yeah, I have to pay the wards. That doesn't actually work how I want it to. Yeah, I probably should have just tapped out and killed the dragon then. I completely blanked on the ward there because I was doing all the math of the cost reductions instead in my head. Our opponent is 5-color soup. There's Karu Goldkeeper, which has a really good ability in the grave, and this does not exile. Or does not exile. So Goldkeeper sucks for us, even if we kill the island dragon. So what do I do? We're not getting through. Maybe we're playing a 7/7? That feels almost never right. Probably just killing the dragon and chilling. I don't know, there is a lot of value to getting the wide board, getting the flurry trigger. So I guess we're killing the Goldkeeper and letting them do the thing. So we can do the thing as well. Because they were going to do the thing eventually regardless. Be a free attacker turn over turn. The stag is concerning, but I don't have any removal in our deck that can kill it because we played the maneuver early. The exhale can never kill a stag because we don't have the dragon to do it at instant speed. I mean, I guess there is like a dragon in the deck, so if we draw the 1 dragon, then I could in theory. Okay, well this only costing 2 is cool, but also not crazy. I've got all my Harmonized cards left in the deck, which is honestly only like 2 Harmonized cards, but still probably worth the mill. I've got 1 Renew card and 2 Harmonizers that I could hit. 3, 4, 5, 6. Sure. I don't think I want to mill 7. I'm cool with mill 6. I just have the counter here. I could also see an argument for not milling, just in the fact that if this game goes really long, it could come down to mill if we're staring at each other. Yeah, that is definitely a concern. All right, now let's just chill. A 5-5 is good enough here. We get to start attacking with that into their board. Where my synchronized charge at? That card would be beautiful here. Oh, speaking of cards that are beautiful here, top deck Mammoth Bellow for 2 5/5s, and never mind, we are not attacking for a century. The lands are certainly not beautiful. Another Goldkeeper. Okay, that's very gross. My 1-mana Pummeler. Might have played this a little too quickly. There is definitely value in flurrying. So I probably hold off on Pummeler. It doesn't impact the board enough to really get us attacking or anything. So try to save it for a flurry and get another flyer. We're gonna die to a Snowmelt Stag because my deck just can't kill it. Biggest flaw in the deck coming in hot for the final game. They just get like 3 unblockable Snowmelt Stag attacks in and that's it. They have to spend 7 to make it unblockable, but I don't have removal for it, so that'll do it. Okay, send a Mammoth into the sky, also pretty deadly. It's not a spell, Arena, please. Can I get my draw 3 discard one? That would be incredible. Or synchronized charge. I think those are the 2 best draws in the deck here. We don't really, again, have big bomb rares and mythics. Our one is the Battle Crier, which is just bomb if you play it really early with a bunch of stuff to reduce the cost of. And they hit their Guardian. No, Arena. I'm under enough pressure now with this many flyers. I don't think I can afford to hold off on playing another reach creature this turn. Which means I'll definitely hit the spell next turn for the flurry. You got a big combat trick drawn as well? Yep, they're on all gas. Rough. Jesus. Guess I was never flirting with this pummeler. Seven hold the 6/5 off, maybe? They can actually just like attack with all the flyers and kill me here. Last card is still another spell. Seems good. 6 and 3. It is. Lost the top deck war really, really hard for our final game of Magic. That is all there is to that one. We are still on a pretty great record for this Temur deck. 6 and 3 is very nice. I don't hate how the draft went at all. There were two flaws with the deck. One of them we couldn't really control at all, which is that we don't have any Mega Bomb rares or mythics. We just have some decent early rares. And then the other flaw is something we probably could have controlled, which is we are very, very low on interaction on removal spells, and we definitely saw that play out in the last game. And I think really all three of our losses were partially due to the lack of removal, the lack of ways to stop our opponent's best cards from doing stuff. But that was really all there was in terms of major flaws in this deck, and because of that, deck still makes it to a really solid, really win rate, really good win rate, really positive win rate, regardless of those flaws. Still get a 6-3 run with it. So pretty happy with how the draft went. Just would try to take these removal spells really, really highly in the future. So 6 and 3 for today's draft leaves us with 1,800 gems and 5 packs, very far in the money today. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel. If you're interested in seeing some more videos like this, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.